approach the Supreme Court as well in case there is a floor test which is called for. But, you know, we need to get a legal opinion then on what really happens, and hence I'm requesting our producers to get us a legal voice on this broadcast because everything is now boiling down to legality at this point of time. In the meanwhile, Paulomi and Munish both continue to be with us. So, Paulomi, you know, at the moment, it's all going to be about the legal nuances, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's going to be about the legal nuances, and Cheti, like you said, you have of course asked your producers to bring in some legal experts on that aspect. It would be interesting if we could get either Anisha and Nalini in on this
Absolutely.
as well, because how the court elaborated upon that particular point of the other faction being able to have that option to approach the Supreme Court if a floor test is forced is something that we need more clarity on. But clearly, what it appears is that now they will be, of course, the Eknath Shinde camp will be, of course, seeking further legal advice, because this was the next step. Today, the only point that they wanted to achieve out of this hearing was a stay on their disqualification proceedings. They've been successful on getting that, and they've got a huge and a long window at that till the 11th of July. But this aspect of the order which has come in, which is about the other faction having the option to approach the court if a floor test is forced, throws a spanner in the works, really, because that is exactly what they wanted this window for, to be able to approach the governor immediately, withdraw support, throw this government into a situation where the governor orders a floor test and asks Uddhav Thackeray to prove his majority on the floor of the House. He's unable to prove that. They swoop down with the BJP and say, here are the numbers, we are in majority.
Yes, no, absolutely. And in the meanwhile, I'm requesting the producers once again, get us a legal voice, or get us Nalini, or get us Anisha to break this down legally for us. In the meanwhile, let me also take this across to Munish Pandey, who's tracking all the developments rather very closely. Munish, there was a window that came into the Shinde camp. It was advantage Shinde when the disqualification of those 16 MLAs was put on hold by the Supreme Court as well. At the same time, you've got, you know, the Shinde camp likely to take advantage of that situation, push for a floor test in the interim, but Uddhav now can go ahead and contest this. It'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out legally, just in case a floor test is pushed for, because this is absolutely an opportunity for the Shinde camp at this point.
Cheti, certainly at this point of time, Shinde camp has advantage because all these 16 rebel MLAs against whom a notice was served by the Deputy Speaker, at least at this point of time, it is clear that till July 11 they won't be disqualified. It is a huge advantage for Eknath Shinde camp. But at the very same time, all these three, at least two of the camps, Uddhav Thackeray camps and Eknath Shinde camp, they are aware that now the matter is before the Supreme Court. Any illegality or anything which is not according to the law, that is going to play out very bad for that particular camp.
Absolutely. Munish, I'm being told you need to be patched on to our sister channel, so I'm going to have to let you go at this point of time. But Munish was just giving us a perspective on the raging political turmoil which is unfolding by the minute in Maharashtra. That's exactly what Munish was bringing to us right now. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday. This has been in connection with the Patra Chaul land scam case, which Munish just explained to us a little while back. Some of his properties had been attached by the Enforcement Directorate earlier, and reacting to the summons, Sena MP Sanjay Raut said that the Bala Saheb's Shiv Seniks were fighting a big battle and that there is a conspiracy now to stop him. He has further gone on to declare that even if they arrest him, he won't take the Guwahati route. In fact, you've got Shiv Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi, who has said that the Enforcement Directorate was now showing its true devotion towards the Bharatiya Janata Party. This has been their stance ever since the summon was issued. Earlier, the Enforcement Directorate has also attached properties worth 9 crore rupees related to Sanjay Raut's aide, Praveen Raut, and assets worth about 2 crore rupees, which are belonging to Sanjay Raut's wife, Varsha, in the 1,034 crore rupees Patra Chaul land scam case. The ED officials probing the Patra Chaul land scam case had found in February. Now, this is in February. We are right now in June. They found out in February that Praveen Raut, which is a close aide of Sanjay Raut, paid 55 lakh rupees from the proceeds of crime through his wife's account to Varsha. Varsha happens to be the wife of Sanjay Raut. The ED also said that hotel accommodation, tickets, all of this was booked for domestic as well as international travel of Sanjay Raut and people who were associated with him. So this is a new twist that is coming in at this point of time.
अशा प्रकारच्या कोणत्याही बनावट कारवाईने माझी मान कापली तरी मी गुवाहाटीला जाणार नाही, मी गुडघे टेकणार नाही, मी तुरुंगात जाणं पसंत करीन खोटा या अशा प्रकरणामध्ये. मला काही वेळ लागेल कारण या सगळ्या पक्षाच्या घडामोडी आहेत, त्यात मला वेळ द्यावा लागेल आणि काही उपजे त्यांना मला अटक करून घेऊन द्यायचं असेल तेव्हा घेऊन जाऊ शकतात. जर दिल्लीतून तसा आदेश असेल भारतीय जनता पक्षाच्या नेत्यांचा आणि महाराष्ट्रातल्या नेत्यांचा की यांना अटक करा आणि घेऊन जा, तर ते मला घेऊन जाऊ शकतात कधी.
इस कार्रवाई को हम अन्यथा लेने के बजाय जिन्हें भी ईडी का समन्स आता है वे उन सवालों का जवाब दे. सवालों से यदि कोई छुपता है तो उसका स्पष्ट अर्थ यह है कि उनके हाथ कहीं न कहीं काले हैं. जब पुख्ता कागजातों के आधार पर ईडी कार्रवाई करे तो उस कार्रवाई के साथ हम उसे सियासत क्यों जोड़े? क्या देश के लोग क्या चाहते हैं कि कोई बड़ा नेता है करके उस पर कार्रवाई नहीं हो?
ईडीचं समन्स आलेलं आहे.
हो का? मला पण आपल्याकडूनच कळलं. शुभेच्छा त्यांना.
And let's take this across to my colleague Gaurav Sawant, who was in conversation with Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi on Sanjay Raut's enforcement directorate summon. Here is what Priyanka Chaturvedi had to say on this. Listen in.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, the BJP says that the ED is doing its job. The enforcement directorate is not working on their orders. Respond, ma'am.
That's one of the biggest jokes I've heard since 2014, and history will tell you since 2014 which are the ED cases which have been activated, which are the ED cases which are being focused upon, and whether it's a coincidence or whether it's deliberate, you can answer that for yourself. The series of ED investigations that are being focused upon by the enforcement directorate are those of the opposition leaders. I also put a few names of few leaders who have now joined the BJP, the other side, whose cases have been closed, whose cases have no longer been investigated. So I can easily call ED the enforced extended department of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I can also call them the extortionist department of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is extorting support for the BJP in non-BJP led states and creating a chaos in those states.
Ma'am, is there now a fratricidal war within the Shiv Sena? It's Sena versus Sena on the streets of Maharashtra.
No, it is Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena is fighting back those forces who are trying to attempt and dislodge this government. And there is no war as such. A little protest that you saw in Thane, which you all are covering just so much yesterday by the Shinde camp, Eknath Shinde's camp, is not really a war. It is very clearly Shiv Sena's support base asserting itself that the only Shiv Sena that we know and that we support and we acknowledge and we will continue to work under is the Shiv Sena under the leadership of Shri Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. It is a Shiv Sena which was founded by Balasaheb Thackeray, not those who after 2.5 years of staying in the government, holding important portfolios, important positions, claiming to use his name, claiming to use his Hindutva narrative for themselves. Where were these people in the past 2.5 years?
And we've got some big breaking news also coming in just about a bit, because there are twists and turns that are just happening in this story. It's a very fast-moving story. Our rolling coverage in the Maharashtra political drama continues, and that we will continue on the other side of this very short commercial break. See you in just about a bit.
You are watching India Today.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Well, the Maharashtra political drama continues to get murkier and murkier by the day, and every twist and turn is being brought to you first here on India Today by us. There is a fight between the Uddhav Sena. I'm just going to break this down for our viewers. One side you have Uddhav Sena, and then you have got Shinde Sena raging fire. As the leaders lock horns, they are in a war of words right now. Union Minister Rao Sahib Danve made a huge claim, stating that the Mahavikas Aghadi government is on its last leg, and that they would sit in the opposition only for 2 to 3 days. Attacking the rebel faction, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut said that all the 40 rebel MLAs who are in Guwahati are not alive and their bodies will come back to Maharashtra, but not their souls. He said this, of course, proverbially. He went on to say that the post-mortem of the soulless bodies will be directly done in the assembly. Countering Sanjay Raut, rebel faction leader Eknath Shinde said that if we have to die to save Bala Sahib's Shiv Sena and his Hindutva ideology, even that's better. And if that happened, we will consider that to be our destiny. Launching a scathing attack on the NCP, Eknath Shinde said that how can Bala Sahib's Shiv Sena support someone who has direct connections with Dawood, who killed innocent Mumbaikars? So the war of words is getting rather very murky and ugly at this point of time.
आज तक भी एक भाषण अभी मैंने भाषण ट्वीट किया गुलाबराव पाटिल का, देख लीजिए। वो खुद बोल रहा है बाप बदलने की भाषा। जो लोग बाप बदलते हैं उस बारे में उसने जो एक वक्तव्य किया है वो बहुत ही मार्गदर्शक है। वहां जो बैठे हैं गुवाहाटी में, उन सभी के लिए गुलाब पाटिल का जो मैंने एक स्पीच ट्वीट किया है वो बहुत ही मार्गदर्शक है। कैसे कैसे लोग अपना बाप बदल लेते हैं, बेईमान होते हैं, पार्टी में खाते हैं पीते हैं, बड़े होते हैं, अपना बाप बदल लेते हैं। हम बाप बदलने वाले में से नहीं है। मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं। मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ। मेरे जैसा है, मैंने कभी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग या क्या है सब पैसों का खेल कभी किया नहीं। ठीक है, आप भेज दीजिए, मुझे मालूम है कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन जाता है, क्यों जाता है। देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा। मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ। आप जितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा।
गुवाहाटी क्यों जाएगा सुनील राउत? हम तो बाला साहब के सैनिक है, शिवसेना उद्धव जी ठाकरे के सैनिक है। हम क्यों गुवाहाटी जाएंगे?
तो फिर ऐसी बातें क्यों फैल रही है?
ये मीडिया और वहाँ से ये कंफ्यूजन निर्माण करने के लिए, क्योंकि मेरे पास एक संजय राउत मेरे बड़े भाई है। तो लोगों में कंफ्यूजन होना चाहिए कि बाबा सुनील राउत भी जा रहे हैं, मैं क्यों जाऊँ?
हर रोज कहा
मेरे पास क्या है? लोग बोलते हैं वो कोई पैसा लेके, लेकिन मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ मेरे पास क्या है? तो मेरे पास संजय राउत है, हमारे पक्ष प्रमुख उद्धव जी ठाकरे है, जो हमारे नस नस में है, हमारे खून में है। तो हम गुवाहाटी क्यों जाएंगे? हम आयुष्य के आखिरी क्षण तक हम शिवसेना।
लेकिन
मी केंद्रामध्ये मंत्री आहे, भैयासाहेब राज्यामध्ये मंत्री आहे। मला तर काय आता मंत्री होऊन 2.5 वर्ष झाले, 12-14 वर्ष तुम्हाला उरायले। तर 14 वर्षामध्ये तुम्ही जे जे केलं आणि अजून काही करायचं राहिलं तेवढं लवकर करून घ्या, वेळ निघून जायला लागली। त्याच्यामुळं पुढच्या काळामध्ये जर तुम्हाला संधी पाहिजे असेल तर त्याचाही विचार आपल्याला करता येईल। पण जिल्ह्यामध्ये बऱ्याच गोष्टी अजून आपल्याला बाकी आहे। पण टोपे साहेब, अजून मी 2-3 दिवस विरोधी पक्षात आहे आणि माझी बाजू मी तुमच्या पुढे मांडली पाहिजे।
आजही शिवसेनेबद्दल माझ्या मनामध्ये नितांत आदर आहे आणि आज जे काही शिवसेना नेते आदरणीय एकनाथजी शिंदे साहेब माझं दैवत आहे, त्यांनी जे बंड केले त्या बंडाला मी पाठिंबा देण्यासाठी आणि महाराष्ट्रातल्या शिवसैनिकाला मी नम्रपणाने आवाहन करणार आहे की एकनाथ शिंदे साहेबांच्या पाठीमागे आपण खंबीरपणाने यावं, तरच शिवसेना टिकेल आणि महाराष्ट्र टिकणार आहे अशी विनंती अंतःकरणातून मी माझ्या शिवसैनिकाला या ठिकाणी करतो।
Now, with so much going on, so many twists and turns and second-by-second developments, let us get you the top 5 developments that you need to keep yourself up to speed about in the Sena versus Sena face-off. Let's bring you development number 1. A big setback coming into the Uddhav government. Supreme Court has now extended the deadline for the disqualification of rebel MLAs until 11th of July. That's the first top development and first takeaway. Let's also get you the second development on your screens right now. The Supreme Court has directed the Maharashtra government to ensure the security of the rebel MLAs, their families and properties. Shinde camp has claimed that they were facing death threats. Let's bring you top development on your screen now. Number 3, top development. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has spoken exclusively to India Today's Munish Pandey on the Enforcement Directorate summons against him over the Patra Chaul land scam case. Sanjay Raut says he's not afraid to be arrested, but he's also skipping the summons tomorrow of the Enforcement Directorate. Now, development number 4 on your screens. Uddhav aide Sanjay Raut will not be appearing for the Enforcement Directorate summons tomorrow, as I just mentioned. Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, in connection with the Patra Chaul land scam case. He's got a rally scheduled in Alibag, that's what he says. The top 5th development that you need to know. Rebel Sena MLA Deepak Kesarkar dropped a 4-page bombshell letter against Uddhav Sena, claiming Sena MP Sanjay Raut was trying to finish the Shiv Sena on the orders of the NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. Those are the top 5 developments that you need to know on this particular story. With that, I'm going to be taking your leave. This is Chethi Narula signing off from this broadcast, but stay with us. The latest as far as this Mahavikas Aghadi versus Shinde Sena face-off is concerned on the other side with my colleague Shiv Arur on 5 Live.
You are watching India Today.
India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.
You are watching in
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Co-powered by Solar है लगाना तो Luminous को बुलाना. In association with Sensodyne Daily Sensitivity Protection. LIC हर पल आपके साथ. The new Volkswagen Virtus. Big relief for Shinde and his Sena. Supreme Court puts disqualification proceedings on hold. Notice to Uddhav government and Deputy Speaker. Uddhav and Shinde stare at prolonged face-off. Supreme Sena War.
It's been 1 week since the Maharashtra crisis began, but it looks like another 10 days that this could stretch out. Relief for the Shinde Sena, but their luxury rebel vacation in Guwahati, Assam looks to be an extended affair till at least the 11th of July, unless something drastic happens before that. Hectic developments in Supreme Court today. Who's got the advantage? And are we anywhere closer to answering the question, Kaun banega Senapati? And who will be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra? I'm Shiv Arur. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do the best as always to answer some of those questions. But we're going to begin with Rajdeep Sardesai, a consulting editor who has with us live Deepak Kesarkar, one of the most prominent rebel MLAs, speaking live and exclusive on the big developments. Live with Rajdeep. Let's go straight.
And joining us now is a special guest from Guwahati. I'm joined by Deepak Kesarkar. He is becoming the spokesperson virtually of the Rebel Sena MLAs. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Kesarkar. Let's get this first very clear. The Supreme Court today has now given you a breather. You don't need to reply to the disqualification notice issued by the Deputy Speaker in the Maharashtra Assembly right away. In fact, the next hearing is now only on the 11th of July. In the meantime, are you ready now to approach the governor and go in for a vote of no confidence against the Uddhav Thackeray government, since you are claiming you have the numbers now, Mr. Kesarkar?
Sir, we'll have to consult the legal experts, and if required, we may take that decision.
Sir, you are saying you want to consult the legal experts. My question to you is, you have claimed you have the support of 39 Shiv Sena MLAs, plus you have another dozen independent MLAs. So you are in a position to bring down the Uddhav Thackeray government. What is stopping you from going to the governor, Mr. Kesarkar, if you have the numbers now, and saying, please bring in a no confidence motion, this government is in a minority? What is stopping you?
Sir, there are certain strategies which are to be strategized, which are to be decided by the top leadership, and they are into that process. And I don't think that at this point of time we should disclose it, but I can definitely thank for this result and the relief for our MLAs. And this is in a way victory for the democracy in Maharashtra.
But I will still ask you, Mr. Kesarkar, now that this matter has been prolonged till 11th of July, are you telling me that Maharashtra will have to wait to see what happens till the 11th of July? Because you have been in the Guwahati hotel, some of you now, for the last almost a week now. So I come back to it. What are you waiting for? You have the numbers. What is it? What is it that is preventing you from taking this step of going to the governor and saying Uddhav Thackeray has lost a majority, sir?
Sir, there are two ways. Either we'll have to go, otherwise, as a tradition, they will have to admit that they don't have the number, they should step down, and then we will form our government. If they don't do that within next 1 or 2 days, then we'll think about our strategy.
No, let me get that straight. If the Uddhav Thackeray government does not go in for a floor test, you will go to the governor and demand a floor test after 2 days. Is that what you are saying? Your bookings in the hotel are till the 30th of June at least. So are you telling me come 1st of July, you will come to Mumbai, meet the governor and seek a floor test, sir?
Sir, that is a strategy. As I told you, it was almost like a war. They were trying to disqualify us. Every way they tried it. But finally, we had a justice. And I think they should take a lesson from this. They should step down. It would become more graceful. And that is my request to them.
You are asking Uddhav Thackeray ji to gracefully exit without facing the floor test, Kesarkar ji. Is that what you are saying? Uddhav Thackeray on his own should step down?
Certainly, I feel that we have a great tradition. We have the example of Yashwantrao Chavan ji, who were called to take the oath as a prime minister. Then he was the leader of the largest party in Lok Sabha. But he very politely refused it, saying that I don't have the number, because anybody could have occupied that place, stayed there for 1 month, and then he could have submitted his resignation. But Maharashtra has a great tradition, and we will have to follow the tradition, which makes you great.
Sir, you are talking of Maharashtra's great tradition. Maharashtra's great tradition also does not include sitting in a resort in Guwahati for the last 5 days. Uddhav Thackre's camp is saying, why doesn't Mr. Kesarkar, why doesn't Eknath Shinde come to Mumbai? This should be all settled in the Maharashtra Assembly on the floor of the House. Your claim that you have a majority of MLAs cannot be settled in a Guwahati hotel, sir. It has to be settled on the floor of the House.
First thing, that they have appealed to their workers to come on the road. Previously, they wanted to take the decision on the road. In a democracy, any decision which is to be taken is taken on the floor of the House. And if they don't understand that, and if they insist on coming on the road, I think first thing is to maintain the law and order in Maharashtra, and then we will very happily go there, because these were the tactics to put psychological pressure on our MLAs, where they have failed miserably. And now I think they should accept their defeat and they should step down.
So you are saying they should accept the defeat. In the same case, you have written a letter to Uddhav Thackeray, and I will quote from the letter, saying this is a fight for Shiv Sena's self-esteem. We shall not stop till we win it. I request our party chief Shri Uddhavji Thackeray to consider view and make a new alliance with the BJP. Here you are writing to Uddhav Thackeray saying form an alliance with the BJP. Now you are telling me Uddhav Thackeray should step down. Is Uddhavji still your leader, or is Eknath Shinde now your leader? Are you now a new party led by Eknath Shinde, or are you still with the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray?
We are very much in Shiv Sena. We are the legislative party of Shiv Sena. We have a different existence. And Uddhavji still remains our party chief as the chief of Shiv Sena party. And I have requested him, because his present government is in alliance with Congress and NCP. Unless he gives his resignation and asks us to form a new government with his consent with BJP, then only this government will come into existence, and that would become more graceful.
So you are calling Uddhav Thackeray to resign, then to join hands once again with the BJP and form a new government. A new government headed by whom? By Uddhav Thackeray or Devendra Fadnavis or Eknath Shinde? Who will be the chief minister of this new government?
That would be decided by the top leadership. Our group leader is Mr. Shinde. Whatever Shinde decides, we abide by it.
So you are saying that Uddhav Thackeray should leave the BJP, should leave the MV alliance, join hands with the BJP, and then Eknath Shinde will decide what happens, or will Uddhav Thackeray decide? Are you saying that Eknath Shinde now is the leader of the Shiv Sena and Uddhav Thackeray must listen to Eknath Shinde?
I'm not saying that. Eknath ji also respects Uddhav ji. He also respects and like a god, Babasaheb Thackeray and then Anand Dighe. So I don't think there is any dispute. And initially, Uddhav Sahib wanted to make him the CM of Maharashtra. He has spoken to him like that. But when Pawarji insisted that he should become the CM, then the things changed. And without his wish, he became the CM. He very efficiently fought the COVID. And we are proud of him. But now that 2.5 years are over, so he will have to decide. We had gone before the people of Maharashtra as a combination of BJP and Sena, and they have voted us like that. So that is the public mandate, as per which the next 2.5 years, we really request that we must form a government and the Maharashtra should progress, because when the central and the state are hands in hand, definitely there is a better way for the prosperous Maharashtra. We can take Maharashtra to greater heights.
Sir, but who will be the chief minister? Apparently, the deal is Devendra Fadnavis as chief minister, Eknath Shinde as deputy chief minister. Have you already struck this deal with the BJP?
I cannot say like that. I'll have to honestly tell you that these decisions are taken on higher levels. So I'm just a party spokesman, and that means these groups, and that is our actually party in the Legislative Assembly. So my role is limited, and I think that I have today written the letter.
But Mr. Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group.
Yeah, we are not a new group.
No, Mr. Kesarkar, actually, you are saying you are a new group. Again, sir, just a minute. Mr. Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group, but a new group to avoid the anti-defection laws may well need to merge with some party. Are you ready to merge with the BJP? Is that a possibility?
Let me complete, sir. We are not a new group. We are the original legislative assembly party of Shiv Sena, because it contained 55 members, 56 members initially. One of our MLA, he expired, unfortunately. Now we are 55. So that 55 or 56 people had unanimously chosen Eknath Shinde as their leader. So that position stays. It has not changed. And 14 or 15 people cannot change that position. So we are the original group. The 14 people which are left in Mumbai, they will have to work under Eknath Shinde ji, and they will also have to follow the whip issued by the legislative party. That is what I feel, and it should be as per law, I think.
Sir, but Uddhav Thackeray ji's group has named Ajay Chaudhary as the leader of the legislature party and not Eknath Shinde. They have removed him. Now the decision is left with the deputy speaker to recognize who is the leader of the legislature party. You have challenged that decision of the deputy speaker. No decision yet has been taken on that. So can you claim today to be the original, to be the official Shiv Sena party or not? That also decision may go to the court. This matter will get further prolonged.
Clear-cut decisions. In Ram Paswan case, it is clearly said what your what is written in your party's formation, it is not binding. Whatever there is in the constitution is binding on the house. So it is clearly mentioned. Whatever your party's constitution says, the actual constitution supersedes everything. So it is very clear, and I'm sure there should not be any dispute, because it is a decided matter.
Sir, let me ask you two final questions. One is the fear that is being expressed by many people in the Shiv Sena, or their claim that many of you have gone to Guwahati not because of any ideological reasons. You have gone because many of you have ED cases against you. Many of you have serious investigations going on. You are trying to protect yourself. This is not about ideology. This is because you have struck a deal with the BJP. All ED cases, all IT cases will now be put on the back burner if you join hands with the BJP.
Sir, it is not at all like that. If you could claim, there could be 2 or 3 ED cases on our MLAs, but we are 50. Right now 51. How that number could come to 51? Sir, it is clear cut. We have told to our party chief that we do not go ahead with this NCP and Congress alliance, and we want Sena to be with BJP. Number of times we have told him, the matter was delayed, and because of that delay, we have come to this situation. Otherwise, it would have happened 1 year back, 1 year and 1 or 2 months, maybe.
You are saying that this alliance could have, the MVA alliance could have broken down 1 year ago, Mr. Kesarkar. I will ask you again. The fact, Mr. Kesarkar, at the moment is you yourself have been an opponent of Narendra Modi, the union minister who is with the BJP in the Samantwadi, Konkan area. You have been in other parties as well. Is there any ideology in Maharashtra's politics? Is this purely about power? You are saying it is about Hindutva, but when Uddhav Thackeray ji broke with the BJP and formed the MVA government in November 2019, none of you objected. You were not made a minister. That's why, according to Sanjay Raut, that is your problem. You are aggrieved because of that. All of you have personal reasons. Why didn't any of you object in November 2019 when you were when Uddhav Thackeray formed this government with the MVA, with NCP, with Congress?
Nothing of that, sir. If you could see the pictures of swearing-in ceremony, I was very much present there. I was never unhappy with Uddhav Sahib for not making me a minister. In fact, I was instrumental in bringing in very important meetings to see that the kind of defaming of Matosri was being done. I was hurt by that. I tried to solve that problem in my own small way. So you cannot say that I was unhappy. Mr. Raut says anything, and Raut is the person who tried to come to Sindhudurga, and you know how he was taken out of Sindhudurga, that big fight against the terror. I have fought it, and for that I was asked to come to Delhi at the PM's office, and the Honorable Defense Minister Parrikar Sahib, he has taken me to Delhi. I convinced him that you will get 50 leaders like me in BJP who are soft-spoken, who could understand, and Shiv Sena may get 1 or 2 leaders like me because it is a party which has come up fighting. So a little aggressiveness will always there be in Shiv Sena. So let me the bridge between you two. And I belong to Maharashtra, so I know the poor people. It is a poor people's party, and I have sacrificed my legacy of big business house, and I have come to this politics to serve people. So, you know, it is my duty to join that party, and I'll become a bridge between the two. That time they were together. He said, "You are right," and I also told him that I respect Modi ji so much that I'll not be able to refuse if he asks me to join the party. And Raut is criticizing me. It is something, you know, sir, I could laugh at it.
But Mr. Kesarkar, Sir, Mr. Kesarkar, why did you all not object in November 2019? Today you are objecting. Today you are saying this. We should form a government based on Hindutva. Why did you not raise a red flag in November 2019? Why only today? Why only now when, as reports are suggesting, ED is now tracking down several of you who are has cases against several of you, and therefore you have chosen this path. Why did you not raise this issue in November of 2019?
I can tell you the answer of this. Sir, we were told that Amit Shah ji has assured 50% sharing of power in Maharashtra, and which is not the commitment that was made is not being honored by BJP, and that is what was told to us by Honorable CM. So Honorable CM's or Uddhav Sahib's pride or his No, that comes first for us. Our party's pride, the commitments, that comes for us. So it was basically an adjustment to our principles. And then when we realized that these people are going to our own constituencies, declaring somebody as the next MLA, they are going to MP's constituency, they declare that he is going to be our next MP. So they want to finish the party because of whom they have come into power. Actually, people have not voted them into power. They were defeated.
So they meaning who? Sharad Pawar? So when you say when you say they want to finish the when you say they want to finish the Shiv Sena, you refer to Sharad Pawar and the NCP? You believe they want to finish the Shiv Sena? You were once with the NCP also?
Sir, I had given my resignation to Pawar Sahib when he asked me to campaign for Mr. Rane's son in the parliament election. But one thing I would like to mention here, that Shiv Sena was broken thrice. Once when Chagar Bhujbal came out, second time when Narendra Modi came out, third time when Raj Thackeray left Shiv Sena. Every time there was a role of Honorable Pawar Sahib in breaking Sena. So I don't expect him to make Sena grow because he has his own party, NCP. I know how much he loves his party, and his party president have visited several of our constituencies and declared himself. So it was an official announcement. So how we could tell about them? And then they were giving the funds also to them to see that their candidate, they win next time the election. Again, our own candidates who are the representatives of that particular constituencies. And number of times we have brought this fact to the notice of Honorable Uddhav Sahib, but there was no action taken. If you could remember, after Rajya Sabha elections, Mr. Raut took a press conference and mentioned that those from NCP who were supposed to vote for us in that election also didn't vote. Then if they didn't vote, were they questioned? They were not questioned at all. And that anger in the Shiv Sena MLA's mind was aggregated in the member of Legislative Council election. And this has come to now. The other facts, you know, that we have come out of our from Mumbai. We are camping here.
Right.
And, you know, this is because of what happened in the past.
Sir, but, Sir Kesarkar ji, why don't you come back to Mumbai and do a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray? Are you ready for it? Sanjay Raut is saying, why are you all sitting in Guwahati? Come to Mumbai, have a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray. If even one of you, according to Uddhav Thackeray, says he is not fit to be CM, he is ready to quit and do what you want. Are you ready for a face-to-face meeting in Mumbai with Uddhav Thackeray, yes or no?
Sir, I had a one-to-one meeting with Uddhav Thackeray when 4 of our senior ministers were present. I briefed him about everything, but we have never asked for his resignation. He is linking two things. It's a kind of emotional blackmailing. Nobody will say that you resign because he's our leader. We love him. But still, had it been Shiv Sena and BJP in power as per your earlier pact, and it was to be divided 2.5 year, then also he would have resigned and given BJP the chance to form a government. So that was the original understanding. If the original understanding could not take place, that's why Congress and NCP came into picture. But we, from our own mouth, cannot say that you resign because he is our leader. It is as good as insulting him. So we'll not do that. He will have to think himself. And I think he should have taken the decision. We cannot insist that he should resign. Now the government has lost its majority.
You have any message? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut, who is daring you to come to Mumbai, face the reality in Mumbai?
Sir, Mr. Raut's language, you must have realized, it is very indecent language. And on the previous day, he says all Shiv Sainik should come to the road. And next day he appeals us, you come back to Mumbai to face those who are on the road. These kind of tendencies we have faced, sir, in Konkan. But I do not wish to fight with our own people. I want that peace should exist, and that is the responsibility of the elected government, and especially the CM, who is the constitutional head of the state. That is my only plea.
Aditya Thackeray is saying good riddance to bad rubbish. You have a message for Aditya Thackeray?
Sir, the previous day we were traveling in one car. That time he didn't thought that he's traveling with the rubbish. I know people like, Sanjay Raut. Prior to his marriage day, he was in jail because he was a Sena worker. His in-laws said, you will garland your photograph and that marriage will be performed. Fortunately, he came out, that why his marriage could be performed. Gulab Rao Patil has 17 cases against him, all political cases against him. Dada Saheb Bhuse, who worked day and night to establish Shiv Sena in his constituency or in his area. All these people are trash. Do we get elected because of you? I was also a MLA. When I was not in Sena, that time I had defeated Sena with a big margin. But I don't say that. We have everywhere in each constituency, the candidate have his own merit plus the party's vote. Every party have vote in various parts of Maharashtra or anywhere you go. And then if it is added with the party's vote, you get elected. And that's why I think he's young. He should not use Mr. Raut's language. He must follow his father, who is soft-spoken and the new face of Shiv Sena. And he worked because he has a great future. All of us love him and all of us want him to be a great leader. And that's why he must have the patience. He should not talk like Mr. Raut and he should talk like Uddhav Sahib, who is very soft-spoken.
I will ask you one last question. There is some talk that Mr. Shinde has spoken to Raj Thackeray of the MNS this morning. Is there possibility of you tying up with the MNS with Raj Thackeray? Would you prefer Raj Thackeray to Uddhav or Aditya as your future leader?
No, sir. Uddhav Sahib is our leader. Even Aditya ji is our leader. We respect them and we continue to be Shiv Sena in the Legislative Assembly. And our request is that the original party also led by Uddhav Sahib should make a pact. And MLAs will also, of course, will be in the new government, whosoever they appoint, and will form a good government and will take Maharashtra to a great height.
So therefore, you are saying you do not want to split the Shiv Sena. You only want the Shiv Sena to come together, exit this government, join the BJP and form a new government. Am I correct? And by how soon will this new government be formed? Will Maharashtra get a new government by next week this time? Or will you remain in Guwahati now for an extended break?
No, sir. I think they should take a decision at the earliest so that Maharashtra could have a government which is in majority and could rule nicely. Because whatever decisions you take when you are in a minority government, they are bound to be cancelled when the new government takes the charge.
So you are saying that you want a new government and Uddhav ji is still your leader. Uddhav ji is still your leader, but you want him to leave this government and join hands with the BJP. That is your only condition. Am I correct?
Certainly, sir. And the honor of Mr. Shinde should be kept in that government. As it is, he was supposed to become the CM of Maharashtra as per Uddhav Sahib's promise to him.
And here's the very latest breaking on this unfolding political thriller. Eknath Shinde in his latest tweet has hailed the Supreme Court order. Shinde says this is a victory of Balasaheb's Hindutva and teachings of Sena leader Anand Dige. Meanwhile, we've got the inside scoop on the Shinde Sena's next plan of action. The Shinde camp is likely to approach the governor of Maharashtra to withdraw support from the Mahavikas Aghadi government. Remember, the Shiv Sena has been split wide open and now the Shinde Sena considers itself to be a fully functional political unit that can withdraw support from the Mahavikas Aghadi. The Shinde Sena is likely to push for a no-trust vote against the Uddhav government and likely to claim that they are the original Shiv Sena. The real Shiv Sena wins is a hashtag that Eknath Shinde is trying to trend on social media, and he's also now looking to claim that he leads the original Shiv Sena group in the Legislative Assembly as well. Let's go straight across to India Today's frontline reporters on this big developing story. Vidya is in Mumbai, Polomi is in Guwahati, where the rebel base is situated and from where Eknath Shinde has launched this entire attack. Polomi, to you first. Eknath Shinde looking at the Supreme Court order today and basically interpreting it as a victory and saying the real Shiv Sena wins. But coming down to what his plan of action is, withdrawing support to the Mahavikas Aghadi appears to be one of those plans of action, even though the next time things happen in court will be July the 11th. What is the next step in that case, Polomi?
Well, Shiv, this was always his plan of action. In fact, this morning itself, via the sources that we have inside the camp, we had reported that as soon as the Supreme Court order comes in, the camp will in fact approach the governor. Their plan was to get a stay on the disqualification proceedings, because at the end of the day, even if they forced a floor test and if they stood disqualified, 16 of them stood disqualified, that would bring their numbers down and it would completely, topple the number game altogether. There would have this entire effort to bring as many MLAs into the fold here at Hotel Radisson Blu would have been completely gone to waste. So now that they've got that stay, it's status quo. No action can be taken vis-a-vis those disqualification proceedings till the 11th of July. What they're likely to do is to approach the governor and withdraw support to the Mahavikas Aghadi government, compelling the governor to call for a floor test in the assembly, in which case they will of course hope that the Uddhav Thackeray faction will not be able to muster together the numbers and will fall eventually, which will then compel for the formation of a new government, in the sense if there is a possibility of parties coming forward, which would then be this faction plus the BJP that would put together the numbers, approach the governor, stake claim to form the new government in Maharashtra for the next 2.5 years before the next elections. The only spanner in the works could be the possibility where the Supreme Court has kept a window open for the Uddhav Thackeray faction to approach the court if in case a floor test is forced. But it has not stayed the possibility of a floor test being called. So the governor can still call a floor test, but these guys from the Uddhav Thackeray camp could possibly approach the court saying, what's going on? Why has a floor test been called while we've been stopped from acting till the 11th of July? How is this happening? So they can approach the court, but the governor can still call for a floor test.
Right, and that's the reason why Eknath Shinde wants to approach the governor with his numbers and maybe force that floor test, which Uddhav Thackeray's Sena does not want at this point. Vidya, Eknath Shinde saying real Shiv Sena wins. He's seeing it as a victory, relief from the Supreme Court. He's seeing this as a validation of his rebellion. What are you hearing from the Uddhav camp?
Well, Shiv, I'm actually outside Matoshri, the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. He's right inside, though his son Aditya Thackeray has been going to various meetings and, holding various meetings with the party rank holders or, for that matter, the general public as well. But right here, in spite of what Kesarkar was telling Rajdeep that, they want the MVA to be, be broken out. They did not want the Shiv Sena to be part of the NCP Congress coalition. In spite of all that they have been requesting, right now at this very moment there is a meeting between NCP leaders and the Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray is actually going to happen. Dilip Valse Patil, the Home Minister, also part of NCP, is already inside. He is at the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. The meeting is being held while senior other leaders of the NCP too will be reaching here in some time. So certainly, as much as the people who have rebelled against Uddhav Thackeray really want the Shiv Sena to distance themselves from the NCP, it is as much more that we see that Uddhav Thackeray has actually been holding on to them, making assurances to them that the coalition will not break. Okay, very interesting. So, the final move appears to be afoot as far as Eknath Shinde is concerned, even though he's still camping. He's still camping in Guwahati. It's been 5 days now. Today happens to be the 6th day.
Tomorrow will be 1 week since this entire, this entire rebellion actually began with India Today's Newsbreak. Stay with me, Polami and Vidya. Let's break down for our viewers now why Eknath Shinde is so suddenly upbeat. I mean, he's had the numbers, he has the advantage all this while, but he's sounding especially upbeat because of what happened in Supreme Court. No matter which way you look at it, it was big relief for the so-called Shinde Sena by the Supreme Court in this unfolding political battle. The Apex Court has asked the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly to keep the disqualification of 16 Sena rebel MLAs on hold. So they cannot be disqualified right now. The top court has issued a notice to the Uddhav government and the Deputy Speaker and has asked all parties to respond within the next 5 days. Now, the Deputy Speaker, who is seen to be close to the Uddhav camp, has been asked to explain the notice sent to the Shinde Sena MLAs. The Shinde camp sitting in Guwahati has filed 2 petitions in the Supreme Court challenging the moves made by the Uddhav Sena in the wake of this rebellion. The petition had also said that the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance in Maharashtra had lost majority in the House as 38 of 55 Shiv Sena legislators have withdrawn their support to the coalition and are in fact physically sitting with Eknath Shinde far away in Guwahati.
The time to file our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July. Secondly, has directed and recorded the undertaking of the state government that all protection to life and liberty of these 39 MLAs as also their family members shall be extended by the state government.
Proceedings को कोई रोक नहीं लगाई है. Stay order disqualification पे है कि disqualification नहीं हो सकता. But that stands complete कि Deputy Speaker will call these people. जो notice गया है उसको invalidate नहीं किया है. इन लोगों को अपनी कार्रवाई के लिए शामिल होना ही पड़ेगा.
मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी न कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना. जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ.
Now let's just show you the big takeaways from what happened inside the Supreme Court today. These are the key takeaways. There was a lot of things that happened, but we've just broken it down into a few points. The Shinde Sena disqualification attempt by the Uddhav Sena is on hold. So that can't happen right now. Those MLAs are still MLAs. There will have to be a status quo till at least the 11th of July. So no disqualification of any kind can happen before the 11th of July. Now, the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly has been asked to explain the disqualification notice that has been issued. Now, the notice was issued by the Supreme Court today to the Uddhav government as well as the police on the issue of security. The Supreme Court has given 5 days for the Uddhav camp to reply to all of these questions. It has also ordered immediate steps to protect the rebel MLAs as well as their families in the wake of violence and vandalism that has been seen in different parts of Maharashtra. Now, amidst this raging political turmoil that is now 6 days old and unfolding minute by minute in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, in connection with an old case, the Patra Chaul land scam case. Earlier this year, the ED had already attached some of Sanjay Raut's properties in Maharashtra. Take a look.
अपने बाप के नाम पर पार्टी बनाओ और अपने बाप के नाम पर वोट मांगो. हमारा जो पार्टी का बाप है उसका क्यों आप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो? आपको तो 100 बाप है उधर.
He has been the principal troubleshooter of the beleaguered Uddhav government, leading the fight from the front with a series of fiery counters.
जिस तरह की राजनीतिक हलचल मुंबई में चल रही है, महाराष्ट्र में, देश में चल रही है, तो मुझे पूरा अंदेशा था कि मेरे बारे में मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी हुए उनको तकलीफ देंगे.
And now Uddhav Sena MP Sanjay Raut finds himself in Enforcement Directorate crosshairs, summoned for grilling over his role in Patra Chawla land scam case. Amid the thick of Maharashtra power tussle, Raut was quick to dare the centre to arrest him, saying he is ready to be beheaded but not bow.
देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते. आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए, या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा, मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ। आप कितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा, लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊंगा ना, आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो। अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊंगा।
Sena too quickly rallied behind Sanjay Raut. But legally, it doesn't look good for the belligerent Sena MP. In April this year, ED attached his properties in the 1,034 crore land scam case. Sanjay Raut and wife Varsha Raut's Alibag plot and a flat in Mumbai's Dadar were among the properties attached. The probe agency claims that Raut's wife Varsha, family members and associates in an arm of construction major HDIL connived and sold state housing body plots and floor space to private developers. ED says the private developers illegally sold the flats to buyers and total proceeds of the crime amounts to nearly 1,034 crore. The Sena rebels and the BJP justified the penal action.
उनके पास तो एक ही रास्ता है, जब भी कुछ भी हो जाए तो उंगली या तो केंद्र सरकार की ओर करे या हमारे नेताओं की ओर करे। तो ये बचपना छोड़ दें, वे आत्मचिंतन करें, और ये उनके दल का अपना निजी मामला है। निजी मामले में वे अपने परिवार में उस मामले को निपटे, हमारा उस मामले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
It's not just Sanjay Raut who's facing ED heat. 3 senior Aghadi ministers, Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik and Anil Parab are facing scam heat and fire over underworld links.
As the legal battle is being fought in the Supreme Court of India, the political battle has turned Mumbai into a minefield, with stakes high and a game of political upmanship underway. The verbal volleys, moves and counter moves are likely to increase till the 11th of January, the day of the next hearing for the Supreme Court. With video journalist Sanjay, this is Mosmi Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
And let's go straight back to Vidya, who's right outside Matushri, where deliberations are happening minute by minute. Vidya, you know, a no-confidence motion is the last thing that Uddhav Thackeray wants right now. You know, there may be some kind of protection from that happening, but the governor can still, you know, ask for a floor test and a no-confidence motion, which is what the Shinde camp wants right now. If that happens, how is the Uddhav Thackeray camp going to prepare for it? How will they be able to handle that?
Well, they actually do not have the numbers,
Yeah.
but remember, you know, when Sanjay Raut, Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, whenever they say that, you know, whenever these MLAs come back to Mumbai, quite a lot of them will deflect. They have some sort of a confidence that the emissaries that they had sent to Guwahati might actually now, for the present, might have joined hands with them. But they are inside the entire Eknath Shinde camp. They are slowly trying to get the people, the MLAs who were probably in dual mind, to, you know, think about coming back to the Shiv Sena fold. So that's a hope that they really have. Also, apart from that, remember, that's one of the reasons why so much of pressure, you know, the kind of language that is being used, the kind of words that are being used against those MLAs, trying to put the pressure of the cadre. You remember the Shiv Sena leaders here have been holding meetings with the cadre to find out exactly what they want and whether they could actually call up their own MLAs and tell them that they will not be supporting them any further if they really don't come back. So all the kind of pressure that is being put, they are really hopeful that by the time that game really comes around, that number game, they might actually still manage to pull back some of those who are in the Eknath Shinde camp and let those people not really be as successful as they are claiming to be right now.
Very interesting. So what Vidya is basically saying is that the no-confidence trust vote, if it actually takes place, the Uddhav camp has put up a brave face because they believe that once the rebels return to Mumbai, they might actually change their minds and then the number ka khel will be turned against the Shinde Sena. You know, this is tantalizing stuff and we will never know what the real answer is until that actual trust motion takes place, if it does take place. Governor Koshyari was suffering from COVID. He's back in office. He's ready to, you know, order what he, is constitutionally authorized to order. But let's see if that actually happens. One of the big anticipations from the Supreme Court was whether they would simply announce or call for a floor test to settle this once and for all, since it has to come down to the numbers. But clearly, it's going to take longer than that. Thank you, Vidya and Polomi, for joining me. We're going to keep coming back to you on this developing story. The Uddhav Sena versus the Shinde Sena, meanwhile, has also gotten violent because, after all, we're dealing with angry, emotional cadres looking at their party being split wide open. Supporters of the Shiv Sena and the Shinde camps locked horns, as you can see in these pictures, in different parts of Maharashtra, especially in the Kolhapur district today. Clashes erupted between both factions. The situation became so tense in certain places that the police had to intervene and detain several workers, as you can see.
Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Sena on the streets of Maharashtra. Street clashes, effigy burning, sloganeering and street marches. Supporters of Shinde and Uddhav came face to face in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Unruly scenes were witnessed as both camps indulged in a brawl. Cops had to eventually intervene and detain the rival agitators. Shinde camp is in no mood to budge even on the streets. Sena's most vocal leader Sanjay Raut's effigy was burnt in rebel chief Eknath Shinde's stronghold, Thane. Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who led the protests, pledged an all-out fight to uphold Bala Saheb Thackeray's legacy from Uddhav government in minority.
गावत का अंत कहां तक होगा? आखिर ये लड़ाई जाएगी कहां? गावत नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोगों ने किया है.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who is bleeding MLAs by the hour, ordered a crackdown on the rebels, stripping the rebel ministers of their portfolios, reallocating their posts among the remaining loyalists. Eknath Shinde's Urban Development Ministry has been handed over to Subhash Desai. Gulab Rao Patil's Water Supply and Sanitation Department has been given over to Anil Parab. Uddhav Thackeray's son Aditya was handed over 3 additional ministries. The two rival Sena factions engaged in a serious fight over Bala Saheb's legacy. Sanjay Raut targeted rebels and accused them of ditching the Sena and the Thackeray family for their political gains.
जो लोग 40-40 साल से पार्टी में रहते हैं और भाग जाते हैं, उनका जमीर मर गया, आत्मा मर गया है, तो क्या बचता है? जिंदा लाश, जिंदा कौमें.
The fight for the Maha throne is far from over, with both the Sena camps not ready to budge. With Mausami Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And this sensational claim by the Shinde Sena against the Mahavikas Aghadi government amidst this political eruption in Maharashtra, with rebel MLA Deepak Kesarkar, the one you just heard live and exclusive here on India Today, dropped this 4-page bombshell on the Uddhav Sena, claiming that Sena MP Sanjay Raut was trying to finish off the Shiv Sena on the orders of NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. Of all the many conspiracy theories that have been doing the rounds, this is one that has got official sanction from the Shinde Sena, with one of the rebel MLAs actually saying that Sharad Pawar has put out a supari on the Shiv Sena via Sanjay Raut. It doesn't get more mysterious than that. He further went on to say that decisions were taken at the behest of NCP netas, making a huge declaration here on India Today. MLA Kesarkar claimed that the Shinde Sena faction will not pull back until they take Maharashtra to new heights. Now, Deepak Kesarkar's comments come at a time when the rebel MLAs are claiming a 2/3 majority to stake claim, and that's the reason why it is being seen that they might approach the governor of Maharashtra very soon. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has stripped the rebel ministers of their portfolios officially. And we've got another big twist on this unfolding saga on the other side. We're putting it together right after this very short break. Stay with India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye. Unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.
You are watching India Today.
Rebellion quake in Guwahati. Its tremors felt in Chowpatty. So what started as a resort politics by the rebel MLAs has now turned to vandalism and violence on the streets of Mumbai. Now that street fight has become a legal fight in the court. Can the Supreme Court notice today be seen as a possible relief to Eknath Shinde and the rebel MLAs? Because remember, right now the rebel camp's numbers are increasing every single hour. And with that, there is also an increase in their confidence, defiance, and now perhaps an ego boost coming in from the top court as well. But the question remains, is the clock ticking for Uddhav Thackeray or will he manage to resolve the crisis? So when's the next big government being formed in Maharashtra? And who will be leading the Shiv Sena? Watch all that and more at 6 p.m. Prime with me, Pooja Shali.
이번에 경남의 청기서원께서는 장기간의 이제 8기 어차전에서 인민들의 생활상용을 기준으로 내세우고 생산투쟁을 돌릴 수 있는 이런 가업 지수였습니다. 그래서 우리 공장에서는 인민들이 좋아하는 이런 샴푸, 그다음에
최대 비사망 체계에 맞게 소독 사업을 제일 순위에 놓고 진행하고 있습니다. 특히 인민소비품을 생산하는 공장으로서 바닥 소독과 서울 기대들에 대한 소독 사업을 그 어느 때보다 더 강화하고 있습니다.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
NASA beamed doctors into the middle of the International Space Station while they were physically on Earth. This might seem like a scene from a sci-fi movie, but this technology now exists. NASA tried this new method to ensure medical help is provided to people in adverse situations. This is being called the first holoportation handshake from Earth in space. So what is holoportation and how does it work? According to NASA, it is a capture technology that allows high-quality 3D models of people to be reconstructed, compressed and transmitted live anywhere in real time. When these images are combined with mixed reality displays such as HoloLens, it allows users to see, hear and interact with remote participants in 3D. The technology gives a feeling as if the person is right in front of you. NASA says that the technology could be highly effective in deep space where communication lag is a major problem due to the immense distance between Earth and other objects. Using the Microsoft HoloLens Kinect camera with custom software, NASA flight surgeon Dr. Joseph Schmid and their teams were holoported. They interacted with astronaut Thomas Pesquet in a two-way conversation. Holoportation is not new. It has been in use since at least 2016 by Microsoft. But this was the first use in such an extreme and remote environment as space.
Powered by Philips Beard Trimmer. Adapts to you. In association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Netmeds, India की अपनी pharmacy. SBI pre-approved personal loan in just 4 clicks. JioMart, Har Ghar Ka Mart. Mahayuddh, now supreme battle. Legal war intensifies. Supreme Court reigns on Uddhav's parade. No disqualification till Supreme Court nod. Will Shinde Sena move in for kill? What next in the Maha Game of Thrones?
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Pooja Shali. This is the Guwahati rebels versus the Chowpatty Shiv Sainiks. All of that and more. Let's begin first with the headlines. It's a big setback to Uddhav Thackeray's government. Supreme Court puts the disqualification of rebels on hold till 11th July. Maharashtra government asked to ensure the security of the rebels. Amid Mahasena tussle, Enforcement Directorate piles up heat on Uddhav's chief troubleshooter, Sena MP Sanjay Raut, summoned by the enforcement watchdog over a land scam allegation. Boosted by the support of at least 39 Sena MLAs, Eknath Shinde Sena likely to approach the government seeking a trust vote. Rebels to claim they are the real Shiv Sena. After NDA's Draupadi Murmu, opposition's Yashwant Sinha files nomination today for the presidential post-elections, flanked by top opposition faces, but numbers stacked against him. Day 2 of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Germany visit. After mega Indian diaspora outreach, Modi to attend G7 summit. Host of bilateral meets are lined up. And some good news. Alia Bhatt, Ranbir Kapoor to welcome first child 3 months after the wedding. Alia posted this adorable photograph on her Instagram social media profile saying, I quote her here, "Our baby coming soon." So the big move from the streets has now taken place in the court. The Shiv Sena implosion reaching the top court, and in a big relief that can be seen to the Shinde camp, the Supreme Court asked the Deputy Speaker to put the disqualification of the rebel MLAs on hold for now. Here's more on the developing story of what the Supreme Court references mean for the Shinde camp.
The tussle between Uddhav Sena and Shinde Sena, which has put the Maharashtra government on the edge, has moved from the hotel rooms to the courtroom. The Supreme Court on Monday put the Maharashtra Deputy Speaker's disqualification notice to 16 rebel Sena MLAs on hold.
Time to file our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July. Secondly, has directed and recorded the undertaking of the state government that all protection to life and liberty of these 39 MLAs, as also their family members, shall be extended by the state government.
The top court, hearing separate petitions filed by Eknath Shinde and 15 other rebels, issued notices to Uddhav Thackeray government and Deputy Speaker. The Supreme Court has given the rebels time till 5:30 p.m. on July 11th to reply to Deputy Speaker's disqualification notice. The Supreme Court has asked the Deputy Speaker to explain the notice sent to the 16 rebel MLAs. The Apex Court has given 5 days for the Uddhav faction to reply. The court said that the parties are free to approach the court if a floor test is demanded. It also ordered the state government to arrange security for the rebel MLAs and their families.
मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी न कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ।
It was almost like a war. They were trying to disqualify us. Every way they tried it, but finally we had a justice, and I think they should take a lesson from this. They should step down. It would become more graceful, and that is my request to them.
For now, the Shiv Sena rebels are immune from disqualification, but all eyes are set on their next strategy. With the next hearing scheduled for July 11th, Uddhav Sena and Shinde Sena are locked in a battle of nerves. Bureau Report, India Today.
So here are now the key takeaways from the Supreme Court. 6 highlights at 6 p.m. prime. It's of course a big relief today being seen for the Shinde camp. Why? Because there is a stay on the disqualification of the rebel MLAs that the Uddhav Thackeray government was seeking against the ones who did not attend the party meeting. Now, with this disqualification that has been put on hold, at least for the next few weeks, the Deputy Speaker, who has been served a notice, has been asked to explain the notice that was issued to the rebel MLAs in the first place. Now, this notice has also been issued, meanwhile, to the Uddhav Thackeray government and the police. Now, on 5, remember, is an important one. There are now the next 5 days for the Uddhav Sena to be replying to the notice of the top court. So the next hearing is on 11th July. So at least till 11th July, there can be, to an extent, some relief for the Shinde camp. They cannot be disqualified and they can continue to add on more numbers in their camp, which is clearly increasing every single hour. Nalini Singh, our legal correspondent, has been tracking all the latest. Nalini, do help break it down for us. There were 2 pleas that were submitted in the top court. Why today can be seen as a relief for the Shinde camp, and importantly, what happens in the next few days? Because with what the Supreme Court has said, can there be any other development for the Maharashtra politics that can still take place?
Well, Pooja, the first part of your question is as to why this can be seen as a relief for the rebel MLAs is very interesting. Because although there is no specific stay on the disqualification proceedings, but because the Supreme Court has extended the deadline for them to respond to the disqualification notice till July, till the time the next date is heard, so there can be no disqualification proceedings that can be conducted in the meantime. So as the situation stands currently, which thankfully for the rebel MLAs is at a point where they are still members of the Legislative Assembly and not yet have been disqualified, this situation will continue at least till the next date of hearing, which is when they are expected to respond to the disqualification notice. Only after that can the disqualification proceedings be completed. But at the same time, your second part of the question was as to whether or not there can be still any proceedings that can be conducted in this matter. And yes, they can. Remember, the Supreme Court has specifically stated that they are not passing any orders on the aspect of flow tests at this stage because it's bound to create only confusion. So tomorrow, if any of the parties decide to go for a flow test, or if the Uddhav Thackeray camp is asked to prove their majority before the floor of the House, then it is extremely possible that the Uddhav camp might approach the Supreme Court asking for a stay on the floor test, at least as of now, in case they do not have the numbers on their side. Because the Supreme Court's granted the liberty to all of the parties to come back to the Supreme Court in case anything happens in an illegal manner or they are aggrieved by any situation. So only on the limited aspect of disqualification, they've extended the deadline till July, but at the same time, they've given the liberty for the parties to come back to the Supreme Court in case they face any.
So Nalini, we see that the resort politics is on. Increasing number of MLAs still in Guwahati. We see violence and vandalism on the streets in Maharashtra. We now see the fight in court as well. Who do you think, according to you, this advantage could be for? Is it the Uddhav Sena or is it the Shinde Sena, as we are commonly referring to the camps right now? Or do you think at this point both these sides can only hope to have numbers till the time on 11th July the next hearing takes place?
You know, Pooja, what we are witnessing right now is parallel proceedings happening before several different authorities. You have the proceedings that are going on before the Deputy Speaker. You have the proceedings that are going on before the Election Commission. And now you also have these proceedings going on before the court. What's interesting about this whole situation is that different groups or different sides actually have an advantage before different authorities. So when we talk about the proceedings that are going on before the Deputy Speaker, because there is a disqualification notice already in place, and because the 10th schedule specifically restricts court from entering into this domain until a final decision is reached, you would say that the advantage is with the Uddhav camp. But at the same time, if we talk about the proceedings that have happened today before the Supreme Court regarding the disqualification, then it's come as a big relief to the Eknath Shinde camp on the legality aspect. But at the same time, not all of their arguments have found ground with the Supreme Court. Because while Abhishek Manu Singhvi relied on a landmark judgment from 1992, in which it specifically states that the Supreme Court cannot enter into the aspect of disqualification without a final judgment from the Speaker, that is something that the Supreme Court had accepted. But the judgments that were being relied on by the Shinde camp, the Supreme Court did raise some concerns as to whether or not they can be effectively applied.
But perhaps 11 July, Nalini, is going to be the next big day. And the question is, till now, are we looking at more secret meetings either in Vadodara or elsewhere to have more numbers on either side? Nalini, thank you so much for all the latest coming in from the court. What happened today? At least some relief there for the Shinde camp. We have some big news coming in. Let's take a look at that. According to our sources, after the Supreme Court hearing today, the Bharatiya Janata Party is confident of forming the government. Remember, the BJP officially distancing itself, but cautiously watching, tracking, and it appears secret meetings also taking place. But after the Supreme Court hearing, Shinde, BJP or the governor can, by themselves, at least ask for a Mahavikas Aghadi government to go for a floor test. Now, the power of Deputy Speaker for adjudicate on the disqualification has been kept in stay right now for the Supreme Court, at least till 11th of July. No MLA, rebel or otherwise, can be disqualified. But this is a grey area. A grey area is where is the CLP leader of Shiv Sena right now. If 49 MLAs, possibly looking at the claims right now, are in Shinde camp and they abstain from voting in the floor test, then the BJP has the advantage. It goes to them, as BJP has 104 MLAs plus some independents. So there is a lot of permutations, combinations here being taken place. Mustafa Sheikh tracking all the latest on that. Mustafa, even though perhaps as of now there was no order by the Supreme Court on the floor test, but the BJP will want to look at all possible opportunities, and even abstaining of the rebel Shiv Sena MLAs will mean that it is advantage the BJP.
Well, it seems so, Pooja, because if you look at the entire hearing of the Supreme Court which has taken place, the BJP camp believes that it has mostly gone in their favor. Now, Shiv Sena rebel MLAs cannot be disqualified. That is one thing. When Devdutt Kamath, who is the advocate for Shiv Sena, asked that please give a stay for the floor test because they will demand a floor test, the Supreme Court said that any person is at liberty to approach the court against anything. So there was no specific order, be a stay or something like, okay, you can approach us if there is a floor test order. So this BJP thinks that it's to their advantage. What they have also told us that it is not necessary that the Shinde camp approaches the governor for a floor test or the BJP approaches the governor himself. If he thinks that the government is now in minority, then he can suo motu call for a session and ask Uddhav Thackeray to prove the majority. These are the things which they feel that it's gone in their favor, and they have 106
even with this margin
MLAs, the
by
BJP
the
plus
court,
they have independent
Mustafa,
MLAs. So what
are we looking at the Bharatiya Janata Party could possibly in a surprise move take that first step towards the new government in Maharashtra? Mustafa, please keep tracking all the latest on that. So this is what the political huddles are currently going on with, and our sources telling us more about it. But from the legal fight on the streets, supporters of the Shiv Sena as it stands now under Uddhav Thackeray and the Shinde camp locked horns against each other on the streets in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Remember, just about a few days ago, all of them were part of one party, one group. But now clashes have erupted between both these factions. Situation became so tense at one point that cops had to intervene between these groups. Several workers, remember, all of them, so to say, Shiv Senics, but now divided.
Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Sena on the streets of Maharashtra. Street clashes, effigy burning, sloganeering and street marches. Supporters of Shinde and Uddhav came face to face in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Unruly scenes were witnessed as both camps indulged in a brawl. Cops had to eventually intervene and detain the rival agitators. Shinde camp is in no mood to budge even on the streets. Sena's most vocal leader Sanjay Raut's effigy was burnt in rebel chief Eknath Shinde's stronghold, Thane. Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who led the protests, pledged an all-out fight to uphold Bala Saheb Thackeray's legacy from Uddhav government in minority.
गावत का अंत कहां तक होगा? आखिर ये लड़ाई जाएगी कहां? गावत नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोगों ने किया है.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who is bleeding MLAs by the hour, ordered a crackdown on the rebels, stripping the rebel ministers of their portfolios, reallocating their posts among the remaining loyalists. Eknath Shinde's Urban Development Ministry has been handed over to Subhash Desai. Gulab Rao Patil's Water Supply and Sanitation Department has been given over to Anil Parab. Uddhav Thakuray's son Aditya was handed over 3 additional ministries. The two rival Sena factions engaged in a serious fight over Bala Saheb's legacy. Sanjay Raut targeted rebels and accused them of ditching the Sena and the Thackeray family for their political gains.
जो लोग 40-40 साल से पार्टी में रहते हैं और भाग जाते हैं, उनका जमीर मर गया, आत्मा मर गया है, तो क्या बचता है? जिंदा लाश, जिंदा कौमें.
The fight for the Maha throne is far from over, with both the Sena camps not ready to budge. With Mausami Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today. So amid the street brawl and the legal fight, the Shiv Sena as it stands under Uddhav Thackeray is mulling several options, and this while they are bleeding with their MLAs every single hour. Every single hour it appears that there is either an increase with the Shinde camp or they seem to have some confidence coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Just about a short while ago, my colleague Mausami Singh had a conversation with Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi on Sanjay Raut's ED summons. This is apart from what the political developments are, and a fresh summons have been sent by the enforcement watchdog to the Shiv Sena Member of Parliament, Sanjay Raut. Listen in to what Priyanka Chaturvedi said to Mausami Singh.
The 3 days time has been given and various stakeholders have been told to answer on this entire petition.
So the proceedings are still going on, and it would be premature for me to take a call or comment on something like this. But Supreme Court is hearing all sides, and once that is over and done with, we'll be able to give you a better response to this. But Supreme Court feels that everybody should get a chance to answer, which they're doing.
Importantly, repeatedly this argument is being made by the Shinde camp that the Deputy Speaker's position is untenable, and he himself is in the dock, so he had no locus standi to issue a disqualification.
No, he was not in the dock. He is the Deputy Speaker of the Assembly, and there was no such notice issued. And as far as motions are concerned, motions are accepted during the Assembly being in session. That is what Arunachal Pradesh court judgment will also tell you. The Supreme Court judgment on Arunachal Pradesh will tell you. But again, I wouldn't want to preempt anything without finally hearing what the Supreme Court is wanting the governments to do. What is it asking everyone else to do?
But we can see that the Supreme Court is entertaining the petition, though the court did ask that why didn't you go to the High Court, and Abhishek Manu Singhvi also said that why did the party, Shinde's party, did not go to the High Court, but now Supreme Court is hearing the entire petition.
So the question really arises, the MLAs who were elected from Maharashtra, the ones who are holding important positions in Maharashtra, why is it that they chose to go to the Supreme Court? Do they have no faith in the High Court of Maharashtra?
And what would you say that repeatedly this argument is also being given, that 39 of us, we are being threatened of the threat factor has been incorporated in the petition, and that has also been said by the Shinde camp.
They have CRPF protection. They have the protection of the governor also making an appeal on their behalf. They have the Maharashtra police working 24/7 to safeguard their families and their properties, as well as we are ensuring to them that once they return to Mumbai, because that is where the flow test will happen, that all adequate measures will be taken. The only thing that they're fearing, and very honestly, is that they have spectacularly failed to gauge that this is legally untenable position that they have taken, and they all stand to be disqualified, and their constituencies will also not forgive them for having voted for them under the Shiv Sena symbol and having backstabbed the very leadership.
A notice also been issued to Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, who was appointed by the Uddhav Thackeray government as the Deputy Speaker. So, pardon me, as the CLP leader of the Shiv Sena.
No, again, I will repeat, we are on the right side of the law. And the law is supreme, and we will respond to as per whatever Supreme Court decides to do, asks us to do, and what should be rightfully done.
It's legal, Ajay Chaudhary's appointment, despite the fact that more than two-thirds majority.
Of course, it's legal. Legislative party under the symbol of the bow and arrow belongs to the Shiv Sena under the leadership of Shri Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. There is no, there's nothing wrong in what has happened. Chief whips have changed, CLPs have changed over the years. What their argument is, again, like I said, is legally not tenable.
Importantly, reporters from the court are saying 11th July the matter is listed, and meanwhile, as an interim measure, the time granted by Deputy Speaker to petition or similarly or a similar matter of MLAs to submit response by 5 p.m. today is extended till 11th of July, 5:30 p.m. That really means. That means that if that is, our reporters have just flashed that the MLAs, the disqualification proceedings and the timeline, the deadline given will be extended till 11th of July. Is that a big jolt for the Shiv Sena MVA government?
Till I don't, again I repeat, till we do not see the entire proceedings and what is finally called, rather than going on the stories which are flashed. While we were sitting, Aaj Tak changed its statements thrice, so I wouldn't want to jump to any conclusion till we don't have a final outcome.
That is the matter, because we have this breaking that is coming up. Our reporter Anisha has said, and Mr. Dhawan has objected to that matter, says that since the Deputy Speaker has rejected the notice of motion because it is important that it is not authenticated, let them file a detailed reply, let the proceedings before the Speaker be completed. He is insisting that the proceedings today should be completed.
Again, I will wait for the final outcome and what is finally spoken about and what decisions are being taken. And again, since the matter is sub judice right now, it would be difficult for me to even react to something like that right now.
All right, so Priyanka Chaudhary, they're treading carefully. Priyanka Chaturvedi, they're, pardon me, treading very carefully. But importantly, she says that we are on the right footing. It is the rebel MLAs who have betrayed the party and the people, and they are answerable. And whatever replies need to be given will be given to the court.
So Shiv Sena Member of Parliament Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday in connection with the Patra Chaul land scam case. Earlier this year, remember, ED has already attached some of the properties of Sanjay Raut, and now tomorrow he's expected to make a presence at the ED office.
अपने बाप के नाम पर पार्टी बनाओ और अपने बाप के नाम पर वोट मांगो. हमारा जो पार्टी का बाप है उसका क्यों आप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो? आपको तो 100 बाप है उधर.
He has been the principal troubleshooter of the beleaguered Uddhav government, leading the fight from the front with a series of fiery counters.
जिस तरह की राजनीतिक हलचल मुंबई में चल रही है, महाराष्ट्र में, देश में चल रही है, तो मुझे पूरा अंदेशा था कि मेरे बारे में मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी हुए उनको तकलीफ देंगे।
And now Uddhav Sena MP Sanjay Raut finds himself in Enforcement Directorate crosshairs. Summoned for grilling over his role in Patra Chawla land scam case. Amid the thick of Maharashtra power tussle, Raut was quick to dare the centre to arrest him, saying he is ready to be beheaded, but not bow.
देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा। मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ। आप जितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा, लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊंगा ना। आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो। अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊंगा।
Sena too quickly rallied behind Sanjay Raut.
कोर्टाने दिलेल्या निर्णयावरती प्रतिक्रिया देण्याची मला वाटते मला गरज नाही, कारण कोर्ट अतिशय सक्षम आहे। या देशातील सुप्रीम कोर्ट अतिशय सक्षमपणे निर्णय घेते।
But legally it doesn't look good for the belligerent Sena MP. In April this year, ED attached his properties in the 1,034 crore land scam case. Sanjay Raut and wife Varsha Raut's Alibag plot and a flat in Mumbai's Dadar were among the properties attached. The probe agency claims that Raut's wife Varsha, family members and associates in an arm of construction major HDIL connived and sold state housing body plots and floor space to private developers. ED says the private developers illegally sold the flats to buyers and total proceeds of the crime amounts to nearly 1,034 crore. The Sena rebels and the BJP justified the penal action.
उनके पास तो एक ही रास्ता है, जब भी कुछ भी हो जाए तो उंगली या तो केंद्र सरकार की ओर करे या हमारे नेताओं की ओर करे। तो ये बचपना छोड़ दें, वे आत्मचिंतन करें, और ये उनके दल का अपना निजी मामला है। निजी मामले में वे अपने परिवार में उस मामले को निपटे, हमारा उस मामले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
It's not just Sanjay Raut who's facing ED heat. 3 senior Aghadi ministers, Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik and Anil Parab are facing scam heat and fire over underworld links. With Munish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
And after that summon was issued, Sanjay Raut spoke exclusively to India Today on all the latest updates and specifically the ED heat on him and also about the disqualification of the rebel MLAs. All of that and more in this conversation with India Today. Listen in.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा हुआ है कि 11 तारीख तक जिन एमएलएस को नोटिस गई थी डिस्क्वालीफाई करने के लिए, 16 एमएलएस को, उनको डिस्क्वालीफाई न किया जाए।
अच्छी बात है, लेकिन 11 तारीख के बाद तो करना ही पड़ेगा। मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 एमएलए है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ।
चलिए, बड़ी बात कही आपने। एकनाथ शिंदे के जो वकील हैं, उन्होंने कोर्ट के सामने आज, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने आज उन्होंने दावा किया कि दरअसल वो मुंबई इसके लिए नहीं जा रहे हैं या फिर बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट इसके लिए नहीं गए क्योंकि उनकी जान को खतरा है। आपने एक बयान दिया हुआ था, उसको भी उन्होंने कहा कि आपने कहा कि 40 लोगों की जो बॉडी है वो वहां से आएगी, तो उस पर क्या कहेंगे आप?
देखो, ये तो बहुत हिम्मत वाले लोग हैं। शिवसेना में बगावत कर दी वो लोगों ने और भाग गए, तो डर किस बात की है? अगर आपको समर्थन है, आपके साथ लोग हैं, तो डरने की और भागने की जरूरत नहीं है। बात रही मेरे वक्तव्य की, मेरे वक्तव्य तोड़ मोड़ करो, उसका सब न्यायालय में बता रहे हैं कि मैंने इतना ही कहा कि जो लोग 40 लोग वहां गए हैं वो सिर्फ शरीर उनका चल रहा है, बाकी तो उनका आत्मा मर गया है। ऐसे मरे हुए लोगों को क्या मुंबई में हम स्वागत करेंगे? वो तो सिर्फ जिंदा लाशें यहाँ आएगी। इतना ही मैंने कहा है।
राउत साहब, एक और बड़ी डेवलपमेंट हुई है आज। ईडी ने आपको समन किया हुआ है एक मामले में, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट के तहत। क्या आपको अंदेशा था? क्योंकि आपने पिछले कुछ बयानों में आपने लगातार कहा था कि सेंट्रल एजेंसीज का मिसयूज हो रहा है। क्या आपको लगता है?
ये अभी जो मुझे नोटिस आया वो मिसयूज ही है ना। मेरे जैसा आदमी ने कभी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग या क्या है सब पैसों का खेल कभी किया नहीं। ठीक है, भेज दीजिए। मुझे मालूम है कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन जाता है, क्यों जाता है। जो चल रहा है महाराष्ट्र में उनमें एक मैं फ्रंट पर हूँ मेरी पार्टी के लिए, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की पार्टी के लिए, महाराष्ट्र के लिए। तो मेरा आवाज़ बंद कर दो। और देखिए, मेरा आवाज़ आप बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा। मैं यहाँ ही रहूँगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ। आप जितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊँगा। लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊँगा ना। आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो। अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊँगा।
गिरफ्तार होने के लिए आप तैयार हैं?
डेफिनेटली, क्यों नहीं। अगर आप गलत तरीके से कुछ करना चाहते हो मेरी पार्टी को खत्म करने के लिए, और उसके लिए आपको मेरा बलि देना है, बलि चढ़ाना है। हजारों लोग हमारे शिवसेना में इस तरह से उनका बलिदान है इस पार्टी के लिए। हजारों लोग हैं हमारे, चाहे 1992 का दंगा हो, जो बाबरी वाला, उससे पहले हो 1969, अभी बाद में अनेक बहुत से मोमेंट में हमारे लोग मारे गए। तो एक हमारी बलि चढ़ गई तो उसमें बड़ी बात क्या है, करने दो।
राउत साहब, मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा आपसे कि जो आप इशारा कर रहे हैं, क्या आपको लगता है कि इस वक्त जो राजनीतिक हलचल चल रही है महाराष्ट्र के, उसके वजह से आपको ये ईडी का समन इस वक्त आया हुआ है?
डेफिनेटली उसके वजह से आ रहा है। वडोदरा में एक मीटिंग हो गई, उस मीटिंग में कौन था सबको मालूम है। रात के अंधेरे में मीटिंग हो, वहां से इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया गया संजय राउत का आवाज बंद करो। वो अपनी पार्टी और सरकार और महाराष्ट्र को बचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद ये नोटिस आ गई। ये गलत सब तरीके से, मैं तो ये जो मामला कुछ मैं देख रहा हूँ, मुझे मालूम भी नहीं है क्या है। ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप क्या करोगे, मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ, जेल में डालोगे और गोली मार दोगे हरिन पंड्या की तरह। उसके लिए मैं तैयार हूँ, लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं है। जो भी लोग गलत काम करने जा रहे हैं वो अफसर और उनको आदेश देने वाले लोग, उनको उसकी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी। मुझे मालूम है अफसर कौन है, मैं नाम भी ले सकता हूं, लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं है। हमारे जैसे लोगों को खत्म करके आप देश को खत्म करेंगे। आप अपोजिशन खत्म करने जा रहे हो। आप किसके लिए काम कर रहे हो? आप देश के लिए काम करो, आप डेमोक्रेसी के लिए काम करो, आप कानून के लिए काम करो। आप किसी के गुलाम होकर मत काम करिए। अगर आप करना चाहते हो तो ठीक है, आज आपको टेम्पररी जीत मिलेगी, लेकिन ये देश और देश का आत्मा बहुत पवित्र है, समझ लीजिए आप। ये मेरा आह्वान है उस लोगों से जो गलत काम करने जा रहे हैं किसी के लिए।
So while Sanjay Raut says, put me in prison if you want to, I have a list now of who are the Agari ministers who've been under the radar of the investigating agencies or actually have been behind bars for a while now. Let's begin now. Remember, there are different names that have cropped up already from the minister. Sanjay Raut already in top is because he's now received a summon for the Patra Chaul land scam case. He's now been summoned and has to be present tomorrow. But he's been very defiant and very confident against the name that has come up by the ED, and this at a point when of course Maharashtra is already going through a political crisis irrespective. So this is Sanjay Raut. Let's go to another minister who